Hey everybody, welcome back. It's Valagar Aloevain, back for some more Dungeons & Dragons Online. So for this quest here, it brings us back into our beautiful inspired quarter and into Wilkes Manor. Now, once inside, we're going to want to head off to the right and talk to Talron and get his quest here. Now, he's going to give us a quest called Finding the Path. I'm just going to quickly turn in. This was the last quest we did. So in here, he's going to give us a quest called Finding the Path. So for this one, we want to exit, head off to the left, and kind of head all the way down here at the bottom of these steps. And right here, we'll be able to step on inside. So this one, it's kind of interesting. It's a beatdown, kind of party protection. We do need to protect our mind against the enemy here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to prep and summon my hireling. So that way we can get a little bit of defense going. And then of course we're going to want to buff. And we're going to head on inside. So once inside, we do want to talk to the big bad boss here. And he's going to be putting us to sleep. Which is hilarious considering we're an elf and elves don't sleep. But he is in a dream trance. Now, this point, once we get up and our timer is done, we are now in kind of like a dreamscape, a little dream world here. And this orb of will, this is our will. We have to protect it. So the turret actually being there is not very smart, as enemies will rush to the turret and kill it. So I will be moving that, but I just want to point it out. And yeah, it basically, he's going to rush over here. And he's going to summon himself into Big Daddy Boss. So we'll see him there. And there he is. So these are the quarry. And at this point, they're going to start sending in enemies to attack our will. And this quest is simple. Just make sure they don't get to the start. Or the will. So here we go. And yeah, that's pretty much this quest. It's very simple, very straightforward. But it can be a little difficult, as right now it's not so bad. But later on he starts sending more and more enemies after us. And more difficult enemies there as well. And as you can see, it does give you ample time between each waves, depending on how fast you are killing. Now, if you're not killing them fast enough like we are, it will just keep spawning them in. So regardless of how fast you are killing, as you see, they're already spawning in these guys. And yeah, it's, again, super simple, super straightforward. The amount of XP you get isn't terrible. As you see, just under 12,000. With all our extra little bonuses here, we'll probably get about 13 or 14,000 for this one. So the Dream Scourge, you'll notice there are different colors: blue, green, red. Each one is attributed to a different element. So red is fire. Cold damage will obviously do additional damage to him, while he is healed by his respective element. So he is healed by fire. And yeah, it's a pretty boring quest, but I mean, enemies are kind of cool. And yeah, it kind of, like as Draconius was saying, I mean, it's not the hardest quest, and it's not the easiest quest, but for the most part, it's fairly easy experience. Not a lot of experience, but hey, XP is XP, especially when it's easy. I just love the way the map looks here. It's very honeycomb almost. It's very Mindscape. And yes, actually, as Z-Bub there is mentioning, you can actually see remnants of the different houses. Some of the harbor, like right here, the steam tunnel, or that's waterworks up there. We got the tower there, the lighthouse. So yeah, you can see a lot of little interesting bits here. It's definitely a cool quest, and honestly, this chain, though I barely ever run it, which is so horrible, is one of my favorite chains for a few reasons. It's very active for I don't want to give spoilers, but the last part of this chain actually does take into account which raids you've done. And depending on which raids you've done, which Val hasn't done any this life, so we're not actually going to get that anything there. But it will point out and say, oh, you were the guy who did this raid. Oh, you were the one who defeated this guy. Again, talking about the raid bosses. So it's really cool to see the quest chain here do that and actually take into account various other raids which have nothing to do with this content. Now, they didn't actually go back and add in dialogue for all the other new content that came out after, but all the raids that had come out before this was released have a dialogue specific note in there. Which I think is just kind of awesome. Alright, so here we go. Now we fought off and staved. Now he's going to summon in our worst of the worst. So he's going to bring in some of the worst enemies that we would have encountered up to this point. So it's the Gatekeeper from Gianthold, this guy from Vaughn, another big enemy from Vaughn. And yeah, you just want to take him out. It's nothing special, nothing brutal. But the Rust Monster is my personal enemy. And there we go. Now, once we're done, it's going to put us back to sleep and send us back into the normal world, as he wasn't able to eat our will and make us go insane. And that's those little dream spiders that are on all these guys' heads. If you're in this area and you happen to have True Sight, you'll see that there. So as soon as we come through, it does put us in a small little room with a shrine. So you can shrine if you need. Once you're done, you're going to want to open up the door, and here's the very, very end fight. So it's got a few guys. And then the big bad boss. we are. If you kill all the trash before the boss, you get that beautiful conquest, and here we are. It's 9 minutes, almost 18,000, really not bad at all. And then finally, we have our end chest, which can drop those shards of nightmare or disc. So I'm gonna re-roll. Oh, we got a nice little disc. Never mind. So we got those, and these will be used to get that last chest there in the Mind Sunder quest. Anyway, guys, thank you all for watching. It's been a blast. I'll see you guys later. Have a good one, all.